The alarms blared across Earth's orbital defense station Alpha. Red lights flashed as officers rushed to their stations. Captain John Mercer sprinted to the command center, his heart racing. "Report," he shouted as he entered the room. "Unknown craft approaching at high speed, sir," said Officer Greg Porter. "It's using some kind of stealth tech we've never seen before. We almost missed it." Captain Mercer looked at the main screen. The small black ship appeared damaged, with smoke trailing behind it. "Weapons status?" he asked. "That's the strange part, sir," said Lieutenant Susan Kelly, looking up from her console. "All weapon systems are offline, and they're broadcasting a surrender signal on all frequencies." The command center fell silent. This was unusual. Most alien visitors announced themselves days before arrival, following proper diplomatic channels. "Open communications," ordered Mercer. The screen flickered to life, showing a dark figure. The being had obsidian skin that seemed to absorb light. 4 arms were visible, one clearly injured. Red eyes stared back at them. "This is Captain John Mercer of Earth's Orbital Defense Station Alpha. Identify yourself and state your purpose." The alien spoke in a deep, raspy voice. "I am Zalith, known in the 12 systems as the Void's Shadow. I request sanctuary on your world." The room erupted in whispers. Everyone knew that name. Zalith was the most feared assassin in known space, responsible for the deaths of planetary leaders, crime lords, and anyone else targeted by the galactic hegemony. "Why would Earth grant sanctuary to someone like you?" asked Mercer, his voice firm. "Because I have betrayed the hegemony," Zalith replied simply. "I refused an order to eliminate an entire species. Now they hunt me. Your world is my only hope." Captain Mercer turned to Lieutenant Kelly. "Is this some kind of trap?" Kelly, the station's top expert in alien languages and behavior, studied the screen carefully. "Their ship is genuinely damaged. Scan shows significant blood loss. Whatever happened, they're telling the truth about being hunted." "Permission to dock granted," Mercer finally said. "But you will be under heavy guard and restraints." "I accept your terms," Zalith replied. 30 minutes later, the 7-foot-tall assassin stood in the station's secure holding area, surrounded by 20 armed guards. Despite being injured and in restraints, Zalith's presence filled the room with tension. Lieutenant Kelly and Captain Mercer entered for the initial interview. "Why Earth?" asked Mercer. "We're barely recognized in galactic politics." "Precisely," said Zalith. "Your planet remains neutral, and you humans have a reputation." "What kind of reputation?" Kelly asked. "Unpredictable. Tenacious. Most species find you confusing, even frightening." Zalith's red eyes seemed to soften. "But I have studied your history. You fight fiercely for your beliefs, yet show mercy to enemies. The hegemony does not understand this contradiction. They fear it." "Tell us about this contract you refused," said Kelly. "The luminary discovered corruption within the Hegemony Council. Instead of addressing it, the Council ordered their complete elimination. I was sent to remove their leaders first." Zalith looked down. "But these were peaceful beings who sought only truth. I could not do it." Captain Mercer received an urgent message on his tablet. His face hardened. "We've just detected 3 hegemony vessels entering our solar system. They're demanding we hand you over immediately. If you surrender me, they will kill me and then turn their attention to Earth," Zalith said calmly. "Your planet has been of interest to them for some time. Are you threatening us?" Mercer asked sharply. "No. I am warning you. Give me sanctuary, and I will share everything I know about their plans. I will help you prepare." Captain Mercer and Lieutenant Kelly exchanged looks. The decision before them could change the fate of humanity forever. "I need to contact Earth Command," Mercer said finally. "Until then, you stay here under guard." As they left the holding area, Kelly whispered, "Do you believe him?" Mercer looked back at the alien assassin. "I'm not sure, but I believe we're now part of something much bigger than we ever expected. Admiral Olivia Bennett stood by the window in the Earth Command conference room. The blue planet spun slowly below, peaceful and unaware of the danger now facing it. She turned to face the 12 people seated around the table. "We have a situation," she said simply. "The galaxy's most wanted assassin is on our orbital station, asking for protection." The room erupted in voices. Admiral Bennett raised her hand for silence. "Captain Mercer has sent all the details. The hegemony wants Xalith back, and they're not asking nicely." President Maria Warren, a tall woman with short gray hair, leaned forward. "What exactly did this assassin refuse to do?" "According to Xalith, the hegemony ordered the complete destruction of the luminary species. They're a peaceful race who discovered corruption within the Hegemony Council." Dr. Alan Rodriguez, head of Tenopsychology, spoke up. "I'd like to examine the alien. If they're lying, I might be able to tell." "Granted," said the Admiral. "You leave in 30 minutes. 6 hours later, Dr. Rodriguez sat across from Xalith in the station's holding cell. Despite the restraints, the alien assassin maintained a dignified posture. "Why should we believe you?" asked Rodriguez. "Your reputation is built on death." "Yes," Xalith replied. "I have killed many, but I chose my targets based on their actions, not their species. What the hegemony now wants is different. It is wrong." Rodriguez was surprised. The reports described Xalith as a cold, efficient killer, not someone with moral concerns. "You have a code," he said, realizing something important. "All hunters do," answered Xalith, "even those on your world." Back on Earth, the command center received an urgent message. Ambassador Xel of the hegemony had arrived with a delegation and demanded an immediate meeting. President Warren met them in the diplomatic hall. Xel was a tall, thin alien with pale blue skin and no visible mouth. He spoke through a translator device. "President Warren, we appreciate your cooperation in capturing the criminal Xalith," the mechanical voice stated. "We will take custody immediately." "We haven't agreed to anything yet, Ambassador," Warren replied calmly. "Xalith has requested asylum." The ambassador's eyes narrowed. This being is responsible for 27 high-profile assassinations, including 3 diplomats who were friends to Earth. Xel showed holographic images of Xalith's victims and the aftermath of their deaths. The images were disturbing. "Xalith claims you ordered the extermination of an entire species," said Warren. "Lies from a desperate killer." Xel responded instantly. "The luminary violated multiple treaty agreements. Any action taken was legal enforcement." Later that day, Admiral Bennett, President Warren, Dr. Rodriguez, and Captain Mercer met privately. "Dr. Rodriguez, your assessment?" asked the President. "Xalith is telling the truth, at least as they see it," said Rodriguez. "They genuinely believe the hegemony plans to eliminate the luminary." "And the hegemony's claims?" Admiral Bennett showed a data tablet. "We found no record of these treaty violations," Xel mentioned. "Something doesn't add up." Captain Mercer spoke up from the video screen. "Madam President, Lieutenant Kelly has decoded some communications from the hegemony ships. They're positioning for possible military action, not just diplomatic talks." President Warren walked to the window, looking at the stars. The decision before her could lead to peace or war. Protection of a known killer or complicity in genocide. "Earth has always stood against the destruction of innocent life," she said finally. "We grant Xalith temporary asylum while we investigate these claims." "The hegemony won't like this," warned Admiral Bennett. "Then they shouldn't have come to our doorstep with lies," the President replied firmly. "Captain Mercer, inform Xalith of our decision, and double the station's security. I have a feeling things are about to get complicated." On the orbital station, when Xalith heard the news, the assassin's red eyes widened slightly. The first show of emotion anyone had seen. "Your species is either very brave or very foolish," Xalith said to Captain Mercer. "Perhaps both." "Maybe that's why you came to us," Mercer replied. Captain John Mercer looked at the security alert on his tablet and frowned. "We have a problem." Lieutenant Susan Kelly glanced over his shoulder. "Unauthorized ships. 3 small crafts just entered Earth's atmosphere. They didn't follow any flight paths and ignored all communication attempts." Admiral Bennett's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain, we believe they're hegemony hunters. They're after Xalith. You need to move the alien immediately." Mercer nodded. "Where to?" "We've prepared a secure facility in the Rocky Mountains. It's underground and shielded from scans. Lieutenant Kelly will go with you. Trust no one else." 30 minutes later, Mercer and Kelly led Xalith to a small transport ship. The assassins' restraints had been removed, but 20 armed guards surrounded them. "Your planet's defenses are strong, but not strong enough," Xalith said quietly. "The hunters sent for me are the best in the hegemony." "How many?" asked Kelly. "Likely 6. They work in pairs." Mercer checked his weapon. "We have our own skilled fighters." "Not like these," warned Xalith. "My kind were born as predators. The hegemony made us even deadlier with genetic changes." The transport ship left the station and headed for Earth. Halfway to their destination, 3 small black ships appeared on their radar. "They found us already," Mercer said, his voice tense. The pilot tried evasive maneuvers, but the enemy ships were faster. Laser fire hit their left engine. The transport rocked violently. "We're going down," shouted the pilot. "Brace for impact." The ship crashed into a forest. Mercer woke up moments later, his head pounding. Smoke filled the cabin. He saw Kelly helping injured guards. "Where's Xalith?" he asked. A loud crash answered his question. Outside the ship, Xalith was fighting 2 tall, pale aliens with 4 arms like the assassins. Their movements were incredibly fast, almost blurring in the air. Mercer and Kelly grabbed their weapons and rushed outside to help, but as they aimed, one hunter turned toward them. In a flash, the alien was beside Kelly, knocking her weapon away. Mercer fired, but the hunter dodged with impossible speed. Before the hunter could attack again, Xalith appeared between them, blocking the strike meant for the humans. "Run," Xalith shouted, fighting with all 4 arms at once. Instead of running, Mercer and Kelly helped the injured crew from the ship. When they looked back, they saw Xalith fighting all 3 hunters alone, moving with grace and deadly precision. "They're protecting us," Kelly said in disbelief. One hunter fell, then another. The third, seeing its companions defeated, retreated to its ship and fled. Xalith returned to the humans, bleeding from several wounds but still standing. "More will come." Mercer stared at the alien assassin. "You could have escaped. Why protect us?" "You granted me sanctuary," Xalith replied simply. "My code requires I repay this debt." Back at Earth Command, Admiral Bennett discovered something alarming. "Madam President, Ambassador Xel has been secretly deploying satellites around Earth." President Warren frowned. "What kind of satellites?" "They appear to be stealth communication relays. Dr. Rodriguez has been working on decoding their signals." Dr. Rodriguez entered with a data tablet. "We've broken part of their code. The hegemony isn't just after Xalith, because of the refused assassination. They're afraid the assassin will reveal classified information." "What information?" asked the president. "The hegemony plans to expand into Earth's sector within 5 years. They call it cultural assimilation, but it's really conquest." Meanwhile, Commander Frank Daniels prepared his small team aboard the U.S. Defiant. Their mission was clear: travel to the luminary homeworld and find out if Xalith's claims about genocide were true. As the ship prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Commander Daniels looked at his crew. "This mission is strictly reconnaissance. We go in quiet, gather evidence, and leave. The fate of Earth might depend on what we find." The U.S. Defiant disappeared into the stars, racing against time to uncover the truth. The U.S. Defiant emerged from faster-than-light travel near the luminary home system. Commander Frank Daniels ordered all stealth systems activated. Life signs? He asked, his voice tense. The science officer looked up from her screen, her face pale. Very few, sir. Scattered readings only. Most of the main continent shows nothing. Daniels clenched his fists. Take us in closer, quietly. As they approached the planet, the crew fell silent. The once beautiful blue world now had large black patches visible from space. 3 hegemony warships circled the planet. They're bombing the surface, whispered the weapons officer. Those aren't military targets. They're cities. Galith was telling the truth, Daniel said. Record everything. Then scan for survivors. After 2 hours of careful searching, they located a small group of luminary hiding in mountain caves. The beams glowed with soft blue light, now dimmed by fear and grief. We need to help them, Daniels decided. Prepare for extraction. The U.S. Defiant returned to Earth 3 days later with 27 luminary refugees and horrifying evidence of the genocide. President Warren called an emergency meeting after viewing the footage. The hegemony representatives must leave Earth immediately, she ordered, and prepare our defenses. They won't be happy when they learn we rescued survivors. At the secure mountain facility, Galith met with Captain Mercer and Lieutenant Kelly. The assassin's wounds were healing quickly. I have something to offer in return for your protection, Galith said. Knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Asked Mercer. Everything I know about hegemony technology, defense systems, and battle strategies. Information they would kill to protect. Kelly leaned forward. Why give us this? Your people risked their lives to confirm my story. You saved the luminary when no one else would. And Galith paused. You treated me as a person, not just a weapon. Over the next few days, Galith shared detailed information with Earth's military leaders. Engineers and scientists worked around the clock to understand the advanced technology. Lieutenant Kelly spent many hours with Galith, learning about the assassin's past. One evening, as they walked in the facility's enclosed garden, Galith spoke quietly. I was taken from my homeworld as a child, trained in isolation. I knew only how to kill. What changed you? Kelly asked. A mission 5 years ago. I was sent to eliminate a luminary philosopher. Before I completed the task, I heard him teach about choice and moral responsibility. It awakened something in me. Meanwhile, Admiral Bennett contacted other independent worlds that had resisted hegemony control. Many agreed to form a coalition with Earth. If we stand alone, we fall one by one, she told them. Together, we have a chance. Captain Mercer was promoted to lead Earth's first advanced stealth vessel, built using Galith's knowledge combined with human innovation. The ship was faster and more powerful than anything humans had created before. We've named it the U.S. Defender, he told Galith during a tour. It incorporates your stealth technology with our weapon systems. Galith touched the ship's hull with one hand. Impressive adaptation. Your species learns quickly. On the command deck, alarms suddenly blared. Admiral Bennett's face appeared on the main screen. The Hegemony Council has declared Earth an enemy state, she reported grimly. Their elite extermination fleet has just departed for our solar system, led by someone called Hunter Commander Vex. Galith went still. Vex was my trainer. My creator. How dangerous is he? Asked Mercer. He taught me everything I know about killing, Galith replied. And he knows all my weaknesses. Admiral Bennett's expression hardened. How long do we have? 8 days, Galith said. But we can use that time. Your people are good at something the hegemony cannot understand. What's that? Asked Kelly. Improvisation. Creativity. The hegemony expects you to fight like them. Don't. Captain Mercer nodded. Then we'll show them how humans really fight. Earth's military bases buzzed with activity. Soldiers trained day and night, preparing for the coming battle. In a large hangar at the Rocky Mountain facility, Galith moved with deadly grace, teaching human special forces new combat techniques. Again, the assassin said, watching 20 elite soldiers practice a complex maneuver. Your enemies will be faster than you. You must use your minds to predict their movements. Colonel San Harris wiped sweat from his face. No offense, but we've been fighting wars since before your people left their home planet. Zelith nodded. True. That is why the hegemony fears humans. You are young as a spacefaring species, yet you fight with creativity and unexpected tactics. In another part of the facility, Dr. Alan Rodriguez and Zalith worked on creating a profile of Hunter Commander Vex. Tell me about his fighting style, Rodriguez said, taking notes. Vex believes in perfection through repetition, Zalith explained. He practices each kill exactly 1,000 times before using it in combat. That sounds like a strength, not a weakness. It is both. He cannot adapt quickly to the unexpected. He will try to force a fight to follow familiar patterns. Rodriguez looked up, and that's where we can beat him. Perhaps, if we survive long enough to try. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kelly made a breakthrough with the Luminary refugees. She showed Captain Mercer ancient texts the survivors had brought with them. Look at these symbols, she said excitedly. They describe a device that can disrupt the hegemony's hive mind communication network. Mercer studied the images. Can we build this? With Zalith's knowledge and our technology, maybe. The luminaries say it's their only defense against the hegemony's mental attacks. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, President Warren addressed world leaders. For decades, we believed the galactic hegemony represented peaceful cooperation between species, she said, her voice firm. Today, we know the truth. They conquer and destroy any civilization that refuses to submit. She showed the evidence from the luminary homeworld. Gasps and cries filled the chamber. Earth now formally withdraws from all treaties with the hegemony. We stand with the survivors of the luminary and all free worlds against this tyranny. The vote to support her decision was unanimous. On the U.S. Defender, Captain Mercer supervised final preparations. The ship's new defensive systems were being tested, combining Zalith's knowledge with Earth's technology. Stealth systems at 100%, reported the chief engineer. We're actually better at this than the hegemony now. Mercer smiled. They've relied on fear for too long. They forgot that necessity drives innovation. In a quiet moment between preparations, Zalith found Lieutenant Kelly in the facility's observation room, looking at the stars. Your world is beautiful, the assassin said. I understand now why you fight so hard to protect it. Kelly turned. What was your world like? I barely remember. Dark forests, purple skies. My people were hunters, but not cruel ones. We only took what we needed. Zalith paused. The hegemony changed that balance. We'll stop them, Kelly said with determination. You still don't understand what we face, Zalith replied. Vex doesn't just want to defeat Earth. He wants to erase it as a warning to others. Back in the command center, Admiral Bennett received reports from their outer system sensors. They're coming faster than we expected, she told the president. 5 days, not 8. President Warren's face remained calm, though her eyes showed concern. Are we ready? Not completely. But we've learned something important from our new ally. The admiral glanced at Zalith. Sometimes the best defense is not what your enemy expects. As darkness fell over the Rocky Mountain facility, Zalith stood alone on a balcony, watching Earth's moon rise. For the first time in decades, the assassin felt something unexpected. Hope. Tomorrow, they would either make history or become part of it. The hegemony fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system like a storm cloud. 50 warships, each larger than anything humans had built, moved in perfect formation. At their center was the flagship, twice the size of the others. In Earth's command center, Admiral Bennett watched the tactical display. They outnumber us 5-1. President Warren stood beside her. Numbers aren't everything. On every screen across Earth, a pale, tall figure appeared. Hunter Commander Vex had sharp features and cold eyes that seemed to look through the camera. People of Earth, he said, his voice smooth yet threatening. Your planet harbors a dangerous criminal. Surrender Xalith to us immediately and accept hegemony rule or face extinction. The message repeated in all languages. When it ended, President Warren sent Earth's reply. We decline your offer. Xalith, watching from the command center, looked at the humans around the room. You should reconsider. Vex will not show mercy. Neither will we, said Captain Mercer, now ready on the bridge of the U.S. Defender. All ships, prepare for Operation Shadow. 20 Earth ships, enhanced with Xalith stealth technology, moved into position. Instead of forming a defensive line as the hegemony expected, they scattered across the solar system. The hegemony fleet advanced, searching for Earth's main force. Suddenly, the U.S. Defender appeared behind one of their ships, fired quickly, and vanished again. Hunter Commander Vex slammed his fist on his command chair. Find them. Before his officers could respond, 3 more hegemony ships reported attacks. The Earth vessels struck fast, then disappeared. They fight like cowards, Vex growled. On the U.S. Defender's bridge, Captain Mercer smiled. It's working. They're breaking formation to chase us. For hours, Earth's ships continued their hit-and-run attacks. The hegemony commanders grew increasingly frustrated by their inability to engage in direct combat. At the facility on Earth, Xalith approached Admiral Bennett. I have a request. I'm listening, the Admiral replied. Let me confront Vex directly. I can board his flagship while your ships keep the fleet distracted. That's a suicide mission, said Lieutenant Kelly, who had joined them. Perhaps, but Vex will not leave until he has me, and he has something worse than those warships. Xalith pointed to a large cylindrical object near the flagship. That is a planet-killer weapon. It can destroy Earth's atmosphere. Admiral Bennett's face paled. How do you plan to get aboard? I need a small team. And Lieutenant Kelly must come. She understands the luminary device that can disrupt their communications. After careful consideration, the plan was approved. While Captain Mercer led a major attack to distract the hegemony fleet, a small stealth ship carried Xalith, Kelly, and 4 Special Forces soldiers toward the flagship. They boarded through a maintenance hatch. Xalith led them through dark corridors, avoiding patrols with practiced ease. The control center is ahead, Xalith whispered. Vex will be there. Lieutenant Kelly prepared the luminary device, her hand steady despite her fear. Once activated, this will disconnect their hive mind for exactly 3 minutes. The 4 soldiers took defensive positions. One of them, Private Joe Martinez, handed Xalith a human weapon. Thought you might want this. Xalith nodded in thanks. Stay with Kelly. Protect her while she activates the device. What about you? Kelly asked. I will give Vex what he wants. Me. Xalith stepped into the open corridor and walked calmly toward the control center doors. Alarms blared immediately. The doors opened, and Hunter Commander Vex stood waiting, 4 arms holding 4 different weapons. My failed creation returns, he said, his voice cold. How disappointing. Xalith moved into a fighting stance. Hello, teacher. I've learned new lessons since we last met. Behind them, Lieutenant Kelly began the final preparations to activate the luminary device as the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Xalith and Vex circled each other in the flagship's control center. Their movements were so fast, they almost blurred. You betrayed everything I taught you, Vex said, striking with 2 arms while blocking with the others. Xalith dodged, moving with fluid grace. You taught me to kill. Humans taught me why to fight. They crashed together in combat, their 4 arms striking and blocking in complex patterns. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kelly worked frantically on the luminary device, her fingers flying over strange symbols. Almost ready, she whispered to the soldiers guarding her. In space, Captain Mercer's U.S. Defender led a desperate attack on the hegemony fleet. Earth ships darted between the massive enemy vessels, causing confusion and drawing fire away from their planet. Sir, called the communications officer, We're receiving heavy damage reports from our fleet. Mercer's face was grim. Hold position. We need to give Zalith and Kelly more time. On the flagship, Vex gained the upper hand. One powerful blow sent Zalith crashing into a control panel. "You are my greatest creation," Vex said, advancing slowly. "Now you will be my greatest disappointment." Blood dripped from Zalith's wounds, but the assassin stood again. "You never understood. A weapon without choice is just a tool. Humans showed me I could be more." They fought again, more fiercely. The control center shook with the force of their combat. "Now," Kelly shouted, activating the luminary device. A pulse of blue energy spread through the ship. Suddenly, all the hegemony crew froze, their faces showing confusion and fear. The hive mind connecting them had been severed. Vex stumbled, momentarily disoriented. Zalith saw the opening and moved with lightning speed, pinning the commander against the wall. For a moment, everyone held their breath. Zalith could end Vex's life with one strike. Instead, the assassin lowered their arms. "This is the lesson humans taught me. Mercy can be stronger than vengeance." Kelly quickly secured Vex with special restraints while the soldiers took control of the flagship's systems. "The planet killer," Zalith reminded them. "Disabled," one soldier confirmed. Kelly activated the ship's communication system. "Captain Mercer, we've taken control of the flagship and neutralized the planet killer weapon." Across the hegemony fleet, confusion spread as ships lost coordination. Earth forces pressed their advantage, disabling rather than destroying enemy vessels. The battle ended with an unexpected victory. Without their hive mind, and with their commander captured, the hegemony forces retreated. 2 weeks later, representatives from 27 independent worlds gathered on Earth to form a new alliance. The luminary survivors stood proudly among them. In a private medical facility, Zalith recovered from serious injuries. Captain Mercer, his arm in a sling from his own battle wounds, came to visit. "Earth's council has reached a decision," he said. "You've been granted full citizenship, the first of your kind to receive this honor." Zalith looked surprised. "Even after knowing what I was?" "We judge people by their choices, not their past," Mercer replied. "And you chose to stand with us when it mattered most." Lieutenant Kelly, now promoted to commander, joined them. "We've received requests from 12 systems wanting to join our alliance. They've been watching, waiting for someone to stand up to the hegemony." 1 month later, President Warren held a formal ceremony at the United Nations. Zalith, still showing signs of injury but standing tall, received official documentation of asylum and citizenship. "The galaxy once feared you as the deadliest assassin," President Warren said. "How will they know you now?" Zalith looked at the humans who had become allies and friends, as someone who found a home worth protecting. Later, standing at a window overlooking Earth's blue oceans and green continents, Zalith spoke quietly to Kelly and Mercer. "The hegemony thought your species was primitive because you embrace contradictions. You are peaceful yet will fight fiercely. You show mercy to enemies yet never surrender. You celebrate differences instead of demanding uniformity." "Is that why you came to us?" Kelly asked. "Yes," Zalith replied. "In a galaxy full of powerful civilizations, only humanity was strong enough to offer sanctuary and brave enough to defend it.